started. If you want to stay where you are lying down, we'll just spend a couple of minutes here doing a couple of breath exercises before getting up. So just taking a moment before we start today, just to check in with your bodies. Notice if there's any parts that are feeling particularly achy or tight or stiffness. And let's just take a moment to connect our breath with our body. Just starting to send the breath into any of those parts of the body that are feeling a little bit stiff or achy. So imagining as you breathe in, you're collecting energy from around you. And as you breathe out, you're sending that energy through the body to any particular spots that feel a bit tight or achy. We'll try to use that out breath to help you relax and release any tension you might be holding. And just take a moment to see if you can identify why you might be feeling particularly tight or achy in the body today. Perhaps you've had a really physical day or week. Perhaps you're carrying an injury. Sometimes stress can manifest in the body, causing aches and pains. If you can just identify what's going on with you today. And then taking that attention to the mind and just noticing before we begin today how you're feeling in the mind. Whether you come to the session in a rush today, you just need to take a moment of a few deep breaths, just to center yourself. Or perhaps you're feeling the opposite, you're feeling a bit tired, a bit sluggish. Let's see if you can use those breaths instead to bring a bit of energy to the body. Just take a moment, check in with yourself, and notice how you're feeling, the mind and the body. And we'll come back to this towards the end of the session. See if you can notice any differences. So from here, let's begin to wake the body up a little bit. So giving the hands and the feet a wiggle. And then bringing the feet in towards the bottom and bending the knees. And then just gently rocking the knees from one side to the other. Waking the body up slightly. And then if you want to, bringing the knees in a bit closer to the body, hugging the shins in towards the thigh, the chest. And continuing with a gentle rock here, giving the back a little massage on the floor. And then either gently bringing yourself onto your side or changing the motion of the rock here to rock forwards and backwards. And just taking a few gentle rocks from the top of the back all the way down to the bottom of the coccyx. And seeing if you can bring those rocks a little bit closer, a little bit further towards the feet, and bringing yourself up to sitting. And then from here, taking a big deep breath in, reaching all the way up, looking up towards the hands, stretching the arms, taking a little yawn here if you need to. And then bringing the hands down the middle and just focusing for a moment on our posture. So making sure that we're connected with the ground. If you need to pull out the fleshy part of the bottom from underneath you so you can really make sure you've got a nice stable base. And then thinking about growing that spine all the way up through the center Dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, nice long neck. And finding a spot in front of you at eye level to look at. And then we're going to take 3 big deep breaths all together. So breathing into the bottom of the lungs, deep breath in. And then breathing out through the mouth, nice and slow and controlled. And then put a deep breath in through the nose, sitting up tall. See if you can use that in-breath to help you grow a little bit further. And then breathing out through the mouth, slow, controlled out breath. And one last time, big deep breath in, pressing the palms together. And breathing out, slow and controlled. And then just giving those hands a little shake. And relaxing the hands into the lap as we begin to warm up the body. So keeping that nice cool posture, starting at the top, taking that one ear towards the same shoulder, rolling the chin to the chest, and back over to the other side, taking it nice and gently. Starting to wake up the neck and into the shoulders. Noticing if one side feels any tighter than the other side. Focusing on keeping those shoulders down away from the ears. And if you feel any tight spots, just take a minute, pause there, breathe into it. Try to relax and release before moving on in your little semicircles. One more on each side. And then gently bringing the head back to the middle and moving to the shoulders, keeping the arms nice and relaxed. And taking some big shoulder rolls forward. So going up, forwards, back, up, forwards, down, over. Making them big and as juicy as you can. Try not to hold any tension in the arms. So relaxing them wherever's comfortable for you. So relaxing your lap by your side. 2 more here. Those big circles. And then changing direction. Up, back, down and forward. And as you take those shoulders back, just notice the opening of the chest. See if you can take a breath in as you open that chest and roll the shoulders back. And 2 more here. And then just relaxing the shoulders down. Taking a big deep breath in, we're going to shrug the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Breathing in, and then after 1, 2, 3, exhale and relax. Good. And then taking it into the side of the body with a gentle side stretch. Starting off gently, and then seeing if we can deepen that stretch a little bit further. Each time. And if you want to think about the breath here, we're breathing in as we open, breathing out as we fold. Keeping your chest and the shoulders and the hips open forward. So we're really focusing that stretch into the side of the body. One more on each side, going a little bit deeper if you can. And then gently coming back up to the middle, and then taking the hands to the shoulders, elbows up to shoulder height. You're just going to take a few gentle circles here. In one direction. And changing direction. It's easier to sit in an alternative sitting position. That's absolutely fine. Don't keep the legs crossed if that's not comfortable. And then from here, we're just going to take some gentle twists. Taking the head with you, so you're moving the body in one piece, rotating around the spine. Twisting from side to side. hips and knees facing forward, lovely isolation of the upper body. One more on each side. And then coming back to the middle, and then we're just going to deepen that twist a little bit further. So taking a big deep breath in, reaching the arms all the way up in the head, making sure those shoulders are dropping down away from the ears, and then twisting over to one side, bringing one hand across the body to the opposite knee, and just gently pulling against that knee, the front arm, keep the body upright, and turn the twist towards the side. And with the other hand, just placing the fingertips on the floor just behind you, and pushing up. So we're keeping that spine nice and tall, nice and long, and we're twisting to the side. And we're just going to take a few big deep breaths here. As you breathe in, I want you to think about reaching up through the top of your head and sitting tall. And as you breathe out, I want you to see if you can focus on relaxing into the twist and heading a little bit further towards that back shoulder. And after 3 big deep breaths here, relaxing, releasing back to the middle. Do the same on the other side. So big sweep all the way up, breathing in, shoulders down away from the ears. Breathing out and bringing the other arm across the body to the opposite knee. Gently pressing through that hand into the front knee to open the chest to the side. Back fingertips pushing down into the floor, keeping your back nice and tall. Breathing in and thinking about reaching up through the top of the head, and breathing out and seeing if we can twist a little bit further towards that back shoulder. After 3 deep breaths here, releasing and coming back to the middle, and then we're going to tuck our legs underneath and come into our tabletop position. So knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And just taking a moment to find that neutral spine. So thinking about a lovely long spine all the way from the crown of the head down through the base of the spine. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. And as you breathe out, I want you to just practice engaging those core muscles. So breathing in and relaxing, thinking about the tummy going nice and soft. And then breathing out, drawing the belly button up and in. Breathing out and relaxing. Sorry, breathing in and relaxing, and breathing out. And feeling that tension in the tummy muscles. One more time. Breathing in and relaxing. And breathing out. Draw that belly button up and in. Okay, and then from here we're going to go cat and cow stretches. We're starting off with cat stretch, reaching the back up towards the thigh, letting the head drop down, pressing through the hands, holding it here for a couple of deep breaths, stretching through that back, and take a little bend here in the side, just working into the back a little bit, bringing the shoulders towards the hip and then touching that spine. And then moving into cow pose, so dropping the tummy, but tipping the pelvis, looking forwards. And again, 2 or 3 breaths here. And you can do the same again if you want to, bringing the hip and the shoulder together on one side and the other, just to wake that back up. And then moving through those poses a little bit quicker and thinking about using the breath as well. So coming back up into cat pose and breathe out. Breathe in into cat pose. Out to cat pose. In into cat pose. Working through those 2 poses in your own time, in your own breath. Let's see if we can do 8 altogether. So 4 cats, 4 cows. And when you've done all 8, coming back to a neutral spine. And then sitting your bottom back towards your heels. You can take your knees a bit wider here if you want to. And come into pose of the child. So really thinking about sinking that bottom back towards your heels. And then bringing the chest and the forehead down towards the floor. Either stretching the arms away from you, or bringing the hands in underneath the forehead, into fists, making a little pillow for your head. So if you're noticing your arms extended, that you're feeling lots of tension in the shoulder and the neck, if you're struggling to relax the head onto the floor, then it's better to bring the hands under the forehead and have them flat, just with a little cushion, or you can create fists to make a bigger cushion under that forehead so that you can relax in the neck and the shoulders. And focus on lengthening the back, stretching down from the bottom half of the back and stretching forwards and over the top half of the back. Breathing here and seeing with each out breath if you can sink that bottom back a little bit further towards the feet. And then after 2 to 3 deep breaths here, bringing yourself back up to kneeling. Taking a moment here before we move on. And coming back onto all fours, we're just going to take a little leg and hip stretch here. Bringing one leg forward and stepping through. And then coming up with the torso. So you've got one leg bent underneath you, one leg bent up on top. You need a bit of extra cushioning under the knee. You can roll your mat just to make that nice and comfortable for you. And then from here, I want you to think about pressing your hips forwards and creating a stretch in the back leg, in that front of the hip. Okay? And then from here, the same arm as back leg, you're going to reach up. And then see if you can gently away from that back leg. Just adding to that stretch, so we should be feeling stretch all the way along that side of the body. Place one hand on the thigh, hip out, you've got the balance, that's absolutely fine. And then releasing, bringing the front knee back to the floor and swapping leg. With the other leg pushing forwards, bringing the torso up, pressing forward in the hip, creating that lovely stretch through the back leg into the hip. And then breathing and reaching up with the same arm as back leg. Taking a gentle bend over to one side, increasing that stretch through the hip. Back down, floor, showing all fours. I'm just going to momentarily tuck the toes, walk the hands back towards the feet, and come to a full fold. So just a reminder now, I'm going to take my feet nice and wide so I've got space. You can keep your feet at hip distance, and that would be great. If it is more comfortable to take the feet a bit wider, then please do. So coming into your full fold position, remember that we're not locking the knees out here, just a soft bend in the knees. You're taking a few deep breaths in a full fold, giving the head a little shake. Come a little nod, relaxing through the neck. Don't worry if you're not able to reach the floor here, just as long as we're aiming towards the floor and trying to relax the upper body. And then softening the knees, we're going to start to roll all the way up through the back, tucking the pelvis under, uncurling the bottom of the back, the middle of the back, the front of the back, shoulders, neck, and head, and then taking a big deep breath in Reaching all the way up, looking up to the fingertips, and then out. Well done. Now, before we move into our sequence today, I'd just like to practice a couple of exercises just to help us switch on our core muscles. So we're going to be doing a standing sequence this week that's going to require, as it does most weeks, some balance, and the core really helps with that. And coming into our balances towards the end of the session, this is a really useful thing to already have in your head when it comes to adding in the balance. So standing on your mat, feet hip distance apart. It's very simple, but the focus here is on that sensation in the core. So we're going to start standing tall, shoulders down away from the ears, and just pressing the hands together at the chest. And I really want you to think about creating tension in those hands. So imagine that you're trying to squash an orange between your hands. And then from here, we're going to take a deep breath in and out. And then one more breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to start to rise up onto our toes, pressing the hands together and rising the hands up towards the sky. Big, long out breath. And then breathing in, bringing the hands down, and coming back down to the floor. And breathing out. And in again, pressing the hands together. Breathing out, rising up as you breathe out, 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 out. Pressing the hands together. And then breathing in and releasing. Okay, so the idea here is what we're doing with our body should already be engaging that core without us having to think about it too much, because we're using all the muscles that are connected that automatically help us to use our core to help rise and balance. But let's try and think about it a little bit more now. So this time, we've got the breathing, but as you breathe out and rise up, I want you to imagine that you're wrapping, I think we've talked about this before, wrapping a coat around you, and that's all of those muscles that run around the sides of your stomach, and it's zipping up at the front. So thinking about that and that sensation of the tummy zipping up as we rise and take the hands up to the sky. So let's do that again. We'll do 3 more. Breathing in and out. And in, putting your hands together, breathing out, rising up, zipping up naturally. Finding a spot in front of you to focus on. Breathing in and back down. Breathing out, breathing in. Big breath out as we rise up, hands together. Looking at the top. Breathing in, and last time, breathing out. In and preparing, breathing out, lifting up that tummy, and opening your arms as you breathe in and back to the floor. Okay, so hopefully that's just making us a little bit more aware of what's going on, and we can start to feel that tension in the tummy happening, so that later we don't have to think about that so much when it comes to balancing and using the core. Okay, so from here, we're going to work on our sequence. Today, I thought it would be a nice idea to work on a little, like a pyramid sequence. So we're going to start with 1 move, and then we're going to repeat from the beginning and do 1 and 2, and then go back to the beginning and do 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to build with each time we start again. And we're going to do everything on both sides so that we're not having to repeat so many times that we can go. So then start towards the front of the mat. Standing hip distance apart, standing tall, shoulders up, back and down. Starting with a big deep breath in, reaching the arms all the way up overhead. Breathing out and folding all the way down to a full fold. Breathing in, opening up to a half fold, nice flat back. And then from here, we're going to take 2 cats and 2 cows. So pushing the back up to the sky. Cat, cow, using your hands as if your thighs as if they were the floor. And then coming back to your neutral spine before folding all the way back down to the floor. And rising up, sweeping out all the way up, standing. Breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. So that's part one of our sequence. We're going to repeat that again. Breathing in and reaching up. Breathing out and folding all the way down, full fold. Breathing in, coming up to a half fold. Back. Breathing out into cat. Breathing in, she comes into down. Out, back to cat. In, breathing out as we fold all the way down, full fold. Breathing in and sweeping all the way up. Breathing out and bringing our hands down the middle, and then stepping one leg back and coming into warrior one. Sweeping out all the way up. Breathing out and sinking down. Stepping the feet together at the front, bringing the hands down the middle, and stepping back on the other leg. Breathing back, sweeping arms up into warrior one. We're just checking the placement of everyone's back foot and muscle 45 degrees. And then stepping into the floor. So that's section 1 and 2. So from here, bringing the hands back down the middle, ready to go again. Big deep breath in, reaching the end. Breathing out, folding down to full fold. Breathing in, bring up to half fold. Breathing out, bring it back. Breathing out, bring it down. Breathing out, sorry, I said out many times. Breathing in, down. Breathing out, folding down through the fold. Breathing in, sweeping up, standing. Breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. Breathing in and stepping back to warrior one. Sweeping arms up. Breathing out and sinking down. Now we're going to add on part 3 here on this side. So opening the back foot and coming into warrior 2. Sinking down as you breathe. Taking one more round back here. And then sweeping the back arm down as we step together, sweeping the arms up, and then moving out to bring the hands down to do warrior 1 and 2 from the other side. Stepping back, sweeping the arms up to warrior 1. Moving out and sinking down. Breathing in to the open to warrior 2. Breathing out and sinking down. So then front knee, front foot, making sure we're keeping that knee tracking over those front toes. Dropping the back arm down, sweeping the arm through, stepping the feet forward, breathing in, breathing out, and bringing the hands down the middle. Ready to go again, adding on part 4. Big deep breath in, reaching up. Breathing out, folding down to full fold. Breathing in, coming up to half fold. Breathing out as you move through the back. And again. Back. And full fold, breathing out. Breathing in and sweeping all the way up. Breathing out, bringing the hands together. Stepping back into warrior 1. Sweeping the arms up. Breathing in, breathing out, and sinking down. Breathing in, opening to warrior 2. Breathing out and sinking down. One more round back here. Keeping the back arm down, stepping through to mountain, and down the middle as you breathe out. Ready to go on the other side. Open to warrior 2. And then dropping the back arm and sweeping all the way up. And then from here, instead of bringing the hands down the middle, we're coming all the way down, fingertips towards the floor. And then stepping back into downward facing dog. So we lift it up to the side. And step through round to back here. You can count your feet if you want to. And then softening the knees, walking the hands back towards the feet. Going all the way up to standing. And taking a step back towards the front of the mat. To do all of that one more time. Big deep breath in, reaching up. Breathing out, folding down and fold. Breathing in, up to standing tall. Breathing out, that's breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out and folding all the way back down to the face. Breathing in and reaching all the way up to standing. Breathing out and bringing hands down the middle. Breathing in, stepping back to warrior one. Breathing out and sinking down. Breathing in, open to warrior two. Breathing out and sinking down. One more round breath here. And then dropping that back arm, sneaking through, stepping up. Bringing your arms up to the sky. Now back down the middle to go on the other side. Stepping the other foot back, sneaking the arms up to go on one. Breathing in. Breathing out and sinking down. Breathing in as you open to warrior two. Breathing out and sinking down. One more breath here. Dropping that back arm and squeaking through as you stand back. Standing, and then instead of hands down the middle, we're bringing your arms sweeping down, hinted towards the floor, and then slipping back into downward facing dog. Five, thinking about drawing the chest and the thighs, drawing the heels with the floor. Now, picking rounds of breath, bending the knees, lifting the hands back towards the feet, rolling all the way up to standing, and then taking a big step forward to the front of your mat. And we'll do the whole sequence one more time. Big deep breath in, reaching left. Breathing out, folding down. Breathing in, coming up to a half fold. Breathing out, tap. And full fold. Breathing in, sweeping all the way up to standing, and down the middle. Stepping back to warrior one as you breathe in, sweep out. Breathing out and sinking down. Open to warrior two. Breathing out and sinking down. One more round of breath here. Makes it a bit lower. Rocking that back arm, stepping forward and sweeping all the way up, standing. Breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. Stepping back into warrior one as we breathe in, sweeping the arms up. Breathing out and sinking down. Breathing in as we open to warrior two. Breathing out and sinking down. One more round of breath here. Rocking that back arm as we sweep through to standing, breathing in, bringing the hands up to the sky. Breathing out and folding all the way down, fingertips to the floor, stepping back into down, facing dog. Hips nice and high, drawing the chest with the thighs. You want to pat the feet just to encourage the heels a little bit further to the hand. Spreading the bodies. And then from here, we're going to bring the knees onto the floor. Take the knees a little bit wider, bring the bottom back towards the heels, and come into pose for child. Taking 3 deep breaths here. And release and relax. And now come back up in pause. Bringing the toes back under, coming back up, down, facing dog. And this time, instead of walking your hands towards the feet, we're going to lift one leg and reach the toes up towards the sky in 3-legged dog. Taking a nice stretch here, Before bringing that same knee in towards the forehead, and see if you can step through into a long lunge, placing the back foot on the floor and up, turning to warrior one, breathing in, and then breathing out and sinking down. One more round again here. And then stepping forward at the front of the mat. Big deep breath in, patient all the way up. Breathing out, folding down. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Do the same again on the other side. So a couple of breaths here. Pulling your knees to the floor. Taking the knees a little bit wider if you want to, and coming into our pose of a child first. Do that full movement in the back. And then after 2 or 3 breaths, coming back onto the fours. Up on the toes, and lifting the bottom back up to the sky and down the facing dog. And then releasing the other foot on the other side this time, reaching the toes up to the sky and breathing the dog. And then drawing that knee in towards the chest or the forehead and stepping that foot through. Sweeping the arms out, making sure that back foot's at 45 degrees, coming into warrior one. Around back here. Opening forwards, coming to standing, just finishing with a few gentle salutations. Breathing in, lifting up, breathing out, folding down. Breathing in, coming up to a half fold. Breathing out, folding all the way back onto the floor. Breathing in, and reaching all the way back up to standing. Breathing out, and down the middle. Do that 2 more times, a little bit slower this time, breathing reaching up. Breathing out, folding down, full fold. Breathing in, into a half fold. Breathing out, return into a full fold. Breathing in, sinking all the way back up to standing. Breathing out, bringing hands down the middle one more time, even slower, really so we can start to bring that heart rate back down. Out, folding down. Breathing in, half fold. Breathing out, folding back down. Breathing in, sinking all the way back to standing. Breathing out, rounding the hands down the middle. Okay. So from here, we're just going to work on a little dynamic balance. So coming a little bit further into the middle of the mat, we're going to work on a movement that works through pose called flamingo pose and elephant pose. Now, I'm not sure if we've done flamingo before, but I think we might have done elephant maybe first or second. But let's just recap both first. So they both start from standing in a nice stable position, feet distance apart. And we're just going to slightly shift the weight onto one leg and lift the toes with the other foot. Now, we'll start here, very simple flamingo pose, and you can choose where to take your hands, whether it's out to the side, some people like to bring the arms up here, wherever's comfortable for you. Then, adding a little bit more, we can start to raise that knee. And if you want to, the aim is to bring that knee up to hip height. Bring that toe down whenever you need to balance. Focusing on breathing through the balance. Finding that spot in front of you to focus on. Lovely. And bring that foot back to the floor, giving your standing leg a little shake. And let's practice that on the other side. So starting tall, feet apart, shifting the weight onto the other leg this time, lifting the other foot. So just the toes on the floor to begin with, taking one out if you want to. You can have them on your hips or wherever works for you. And then from here, if you want to, starting to lift that knee, goes off the floor. And either balancing here, or starting to bring that knee a little bit higher. Breathing through the back. Now we'll bring those toes back to the floor. Okay, giving your standing leg a little shake. So that's our flamingo pose. And then the aeroplane pose is working behind us. So it's similar in that we're going to start by shifting the weight onto one leg, taking the arms out to the side to start with, and then we're going to take the other leg behind. So you can keep the toes on the floor to start with, and just focus on finding that balancing point. And then when you're ready, you want to lift the toes. And then the aim is to try and keep the leg and the body in one nice long line. So if you're going to lift the toes, we're also going to start to bring the chest towards the floor. And it's up to you how far you go. I'd rather that we were here in a good balance than down here and wobbling and shifting out of that pose. So the thing to think about here is keeping the hips and the shoulders square to the floor, so we're not opening up to the side. Bringing that toe down whenever you need to, rebalance, take a breath, and try again. And coming back to standing, giving that standing leg a little shake, and shifting into the other side. So starting standing tall, shifting the weight onto the other leg, arm back to the side, sliding the toe behind, lifting the toes off the floor when you're ready. And beginning to tilt if you want to. You might notice here especially the difference in the left and the right side of your body. So I know that my right side is much stronger. I can hold the balance much more easily on my right side. So I try really hard to push my left side to balance for a bit longer. Try and even things up into it. So just notice if it feels any different to you. And then coming back to standing. Giving that standing leg a shake. Okay, so that's the basic pose, but what we're going to do is make this a little bit more dynamic now. So it's going to shift the focus from the balancing the legs into the stability in our core. So those exercises we started with, where we're thinking about wrapping and zipping, that sensation in the tummy, I really want you to try and focus on that while we work through the two poses. So we're going to start shifting the weight onto one leg and just working on one leg in both poses. We're going to start in flamingo, and then we're going to bring the leg all the way through the middle, try not to touch down if you can, and then back out to aeroplane, and then back again. Seeing if you can keep this going as we breathe. So the focus on the breath is breathing out as you come into flamingo, breathing in as you come to balance, and aeroplane. Out. 4, let's see if we can do 3 more. Taking that time whenever you need it to regain your balance. 2 more to go. Excellent. Bring that foot back down to the floor, giving your standing leg a good shake, starting to feel that in the bottom, in the legs, also in the ankle and the feet. We'll do the same again on the other side. So shifting over, bearing the arms, finding that spot to focus on, lifting the other leg up to the window. Reach back. And then introducing the breath, breathing out. Out. Halfway. Go. Last one. Excellent. And then giving that standing like a good shake. Okay, well done. So that brings you to it's going to reach the shoulders a little bit, holding them out. Build a little bit of tension. So just start taking a few shoulder rolls. Just to release the shoulders. And then bringing one arm across the body, hugging upper arm in towards the chest, stretching through the shoulder and into the top of the back. And if you want to, you can take the head in the opposite direction from the shoulder, so heading the same way as the hand would across. Just increase that stretch slightly. And then soften the sides. So making sure that whenever we're doing a deep stretch like this, we're still remembering to breathe. Using that breath to help release the tension that's built up. And then nice and gently, we're going to come down onto the floor with some gentle leg and glute stretches. So we're just going to start stretching out to the bottom, taking the legs out in front of you, bending one knee and crossing the foot over. Now, I'm not going to be particularly good at demonstrating this because I've got a bit coming in the way. But if you can keep that foot flat on the floor without rolling, that's great. And then from here, you're going to twist towards that front knee. So you're crossing the body, taking the back hand like we did in our warm-up, the back hand onto the floor behind you, keeping the body nice and straight, using that front arm just to create a little bit of pressure so that you're twisting. I'm going to go the other way. So the back hand is pushing up, and the front arm is pushing against that knee. And looking towards the back hand as well. Look, you had it the right way, you just need to look towards the back hand. That's it, yeah, lovely. Breathing in, feeling, hopefully, a stretch coming into the glutes. Probably into the hips here as well. Releasing the tension that builds up in those balances. And then coming back to the middle, releasing that top leg and switching over. So the other leg is on top. See if you can keep your foot in contact with the floor. It might mean that you need to take your foot a bit further away from you. And then we're twisting towards the knee. Front arm hugging the knee to help bring the chest towards the leg. And the back hand pressing down into the floor to help keep the spine nice and tall. Excellent. Lovely big breaths in. And then gently releasing and bringing the legs back in front of you. And then we're just going to take one deeper leg stretch. So just taking the legs as wide as you can comfortably take them. Okay, don't worry about them being all the way out here, just wherever's comfortable. And we're going to start with a big deep breath in, reaching all the way up through the top of the head. And then as you breathe out, walking the hands away from you down the middle. And starting to fold forwards. Thinking about bringing the forehead towards the floor between your legs. And feeling that lovely stretch down the back of the legs. Slightly in the groin area as well. And then from here, we're just going to take the hands towards one side. Thinking about now drawing the forehead towards the knee. And then moving the hands back through the middle over to the other side. And stay here. Lifting and breathing. And then bringing the hand back to the middle and lifting tall. And then in your own time, just coming down to a lying position on the floor. So however you want to get down to the floor. Lying on your back, swinging your knees up, resting in towards each other and the feet wide. Just taking a moment here to allow the lower back to relax and release. And after a few deep breaths here, when you can start to feel that lower back releasing any tension, bringing the feet in a little bit so that the knees can point straight up rather than not together. And then hugging one knee in towards the chest, holding on to the shin and just taking some gentle circles in one direction. So we're loosening up through the hip. And then changing direction. And swapping sides, inhaling in, circling in one direction. And then taking both knees, hugging them in towards the chest. Taking both knees in one direction. And circling them in the other direction. And then we're going to circle both knees at the same time, but in opposite directions. So thinking about, to start with, I'm going down the middle, both going out to either side, up towards the chest, and then back together in the middle. And then changing direction, so bringing them up through the middle towards the chest, out to the side, down and away, and then back up through the middle towards the chest. And then nice and gently releasing the feet back down to the floor. Taking the feet wide one more time, resting the knees in towards each other. We're just going to leave the legs here while we take our breathing exercises. So, just while we're allowing that back to really relax, we're going to think about deepening that breath one more time. Then placing our hands on the tummies. We're going to take 3 big deep belly breaths, really focusing on bringing that heart rate all the way back down, bringing restful energy to the body. So As you breathe in, I want you to think about pressing your tummy up into your hands, breathing in, pushing your tummy up to the sky, and then as you breathe out, nice and slow controlled out breath as you draw the belly back down towards the floor, keeping those hands sinking back down. And again, deep breath in, pressing the tummy up towards the sky, creating as much space as possible for those lungs to fill. And then breathing out, nice and slow and controlled, as the tummy sinks back down, hands sink back down. Last time, see if you can slow it down even more. Big deep breath all the way in. Resting the tummy up to the sky, breathing right down to the bottom of the lungs. And then breathing out, slow, controlled out breath, feeling that tummy slowly sinking back down towards the floor. And just leaving your hands here as you allow your breath to settle back into its natural rhythm. Just with your hands noticing the sensation with the gentle rise and fall. And then if you're ready, sliding those legs away from you. If you notice any tightness in that lower back, keep the knees up. And just wait until the back is relaxed enough to allow you to extend your legs away. And just remembering here that we're not trying to flatten ourselves onto the floor. We're allowing for that natural curve in the spine, bringing the shoulder blades together and down to create a nice base to lie on top of that supports the lower back. And then taking the hands out to the sides, letting them relax onto the floor, letting the palms turn up, fingers relax and start to curl in towards the palm. And then let's begin relaxing the body, starting with the toes curling towards the soles of the feet. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Allow the last bit of tension in the feet to go down and away into the ground. And then moving to the legs and tucking the muscles of the legs tight to their bones. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Allow the last bit of tension in the legs to go down and away into the ground. And then curling your fingers in towards your palms. Squeeze your hands into fists. And relax. And let the last tension in the hands go down and away into the ground. And then moving to the arms. And putting the muscles right to their bones. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let the last bits of tension in the arms go down and away into the ground. And then last of all, focusing on the face. Scrunching the eyes shut, scrunching the nose up, pressing the lips together. Squeeze, squeeze, and then relax. Last bit of tension in the face. Go down and away. And then as you lie here, starting to feel heavier, feel your body sinking into the ground, relax. Just want you to take a moment to check in again with your body. Notice how it's feeling. Notice any differences in the body from the beginning of the session. And then taking your attention to your mind. Seeing how it's feeling, what's going on in your mind now, compared to the beginning of the session. Are there any differences, changes? And then as you lie here, see if you can take your attention to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of the chest, the sound of your breath flowing in and out. Let's just take a moment here, focusing on the breath, allowing our bodies and our minds to be calm. And then let's slowly start to wake that body up again. Toes a wiggle, giving the fingers a wiggle. And some energy back into the legs and the arms. Reaching the arms all the way up to the head, past the ears. Taking a big stretch. Yawning here if you need to. And then nice and gently curling into a ball on one side. Roll to your side, hugging your knees in towards the chest. Giving your back a little moment of release. Nice and slowly bringing yourself back up to the sitting. Just finishing one final big deep breath in, all the way to the bottom of the lungs, reaching your arms up, shoulders down, and then breathing out. So you can stay. Gentle